In this episode of the Shared Security Podcast, we're discussing a topic that many cybersecurity professionals might consider controversial: writing down passwords, specifically for the elderly with password managers, two-factor authentication, or even using a smartphone. So we're going to explore why writing down passwords in a notebook might not be the worst thing in the world, how threat modeling applies to seniors differently, and where future solutions like Passkeys could help eventually. So stay tuned as we break down these myths, look at the risks, and talk about practical security for an often overlooked group of people. And joining me for this conversation are people that are not overlooked. That is my co-hosts, Mr. Scott Wright and Kevin Johnson.
Did you just say we're not old?
No, you are old.
No.
I said you're not overlooked.
No. I am not old. I know I feel old.
Oh.
Yes. So I went to the doctor yesterday and we were talking about some stuff, and this is probably more information that people need. And he was recommending a medicine, and he said, normally I would not recommend this. If you were old, I would not recommend this medicine because it can mess with your liver. And but because you're young, it's okay. And I looked at him and
wow.
Like, and
hey,
I'll
take it, man.
You don't know what it's like to be old, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'll take it. My doctor said that 52 is not old.
Okay. Well, last time I went to my doctor, because I'm 51, and he said, time for your colonoscopy. And I'm like, oh my God, is it that time? Can we skip that?
Well, another inappropriate story.
Oh no.
Because poop jokes aren't my favorite, but they're a solid number 2. But
that's a great dad joke. I like that.
Colonoscopy. When I hit the point where my doctor said you need one of these, they I guess my insurance company will only pay for Cologuard, not
that's what I did.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I just right. I got the box. I did the thing, whatever that is, right? And I passed it all up. And he just set it by the door to take it out to the store. And without even thinking about it, I took my oldest with me to go drop it off. And I didn't think you were wrong. I'm like, hey, grab that box. We need that. It's so horrifying once she found out what it was. And I know that unless you're the topic of the podcast.
I mean, it's kind of a great segue, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
so, depending on the doctor, I'm not old or I am.
Okay.
We're not. None of us are old until we start writing down our passwords.
Or we send poop in boxes to evaluation companies. But whatever. So so the reason why this topic came up was, I know this is the thing I hate about LinkedIn, and somebody had posted, or it wasn't even somebody I follow, but you know how like the algorithm will show like one of your friends commented on something. Mm-hmm. And I had all these people that were commenting on this one guy's post where he showed a picture of a password book that's like available, you can buy on like Amazon or whatever.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, this is the worst idea. Why this should be banned and blah, blah, blah. And he starts going on this whole rant about, why do people write down passwords? This is the dumbest thing. It's so insecure.
What do you think the password manager is?
I know. And that's where like, then I just saw the debate in this thread of like, a lot of people I know in the industry, I know people that I respect were actually saying like, no, man, you got it all wrong. Like, actually, that's a good thing as long as, right, it's secured in a house. Like, and we could talk about that.
This goes to the whole thing about, right? We've talked about this before. We don't understand risk.
Yes, exactly.
And we do this. So we have a professional level Slack workspace that we've got people in, and Heather Lynn, I don't know if I'm assuming you know Heather. She's amazing and awesome. And she posted this meme, and it's a map of shark attacks. Mm-hmm. And it's got all the attacks around the coast and one attack in Utah. Right.
At an aquarium?
The caption is WTF Utah. And it turns out like it was an aquarium, and they were letting people feed the fish and the sharks, and somebody got bit. So we have an actual shark attack in Utah, a landlocked state, right? But like you got to think about what your risks are, and when you talk about, and I'm not even going to talk about seniors, right? Because I there are lots of people I know that are older that handle technology perfectly fine. People who aren't comfortable with technology. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. Yeah. Yes.
Or people who don't have the technology to do otherwise. Like we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
I think the Pew Research Center talks about, 19% of the population does not own a smartphone. And I don't know if that stat's still true. Like this is an old one.
I think it is.
Yeah. And here's the problem. Where smartphone usage is not is, yes, seniors, but also the people in poverty, people who are in
disabled people,
people who are in bad situations, right? They don't have laptops and smartphones and all this.
I think it goes even broader because there's, I'm sure, a significant percentage, maybe higher than that, who just don't have mobile data. Like they don't pay for it. And so
keep in mind, you don't need mobile data to have an authenticator app.
Okay.
That is something a lot of people, like the authenticator apps, use mobile data if it's available, but it's not required.
How does it?
Well, you have to have Wi-Fi though.
You have to,
right?
yes, you have to have connectivity, but you don't need mobile data.
Well, that's what I mean. Is if you're working in a job in the field where you're not near a Wi-Fi, right? I'm just saying there's probably a percentage of people who just don't pay for mobile data. They're not always at a Wi-Fi spot, and they may need
exactly. We have lots of people who fall into a situation where a password manager or something like that doesn't work for them for whatever reason. And bluntly, I don't care the reason. If their risk assessment that we help them with says writing down a password in a book that they keep with them, or they secure it in a safe, or they don't let people have it, I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue if you have the ability to use other things and you choose the least secure way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like then we can judge you. But this, and this is actually, I don't know if it's an elitist attitude or ableist, like I don't know the right word, but we in InfoSec seem to forget quite often, not everybody is in the situation we are.
Or has the same threat model.
Right. And and so that we design things or demand things that bluntly are more work than is necessary for the majority of people. It's the same thing with the AI stuff. I just had this conversation, I think it was on LinkedIn, where somebody posted this thing about this company has an AI solution and they lost a whole bunch of data. But when you dig into the article, the way they lost the data was somebody used a default password that was on a device, like they logged into the network through a default password, had nothing to do with AI other than the fact that the company was an AI company. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And all these people on the thread are talking about, well, I see how insecure AI is. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not saying it's not, it is secure.
Yeah.
But I am like, that's irrelevant to this story. Did you read the details? People.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just I think it gets into the risk question that you said, right? And threat modeling and, seniors in general, if we're talking about seniors, right? Like they obviously are targeted for scams and social engineering and all of those things. But you have to find that balance still of, you have an 80-year-old person that's targeted, sure. But how much work is it to get them to adopt a password manager when they're used to writing things down? And if you can at least talk to them about, here's how you would create a more secure password, and then if you write it down, I think that's a better option than forcing them and they're not doing well adopting to technology. Give them the easiest option, but also apply it to how how they're going to use it, right?
Understand their process. Understand what works
Understand
for them. Security should fit into what we do, not be a roadblock, a stumbling block, whatever.
Right.
And you know, I know we talked about, you know, in the intro, talking about how Passkeys are going to help with this, and they will, right? Like the people they work for, the people who have the smartphone, the people who have that kind of stuff. I just, I don't know. I've been that guy. We all know I've been that guy.
Yeah.
I've been that guy on stage, right? That made fun of something somebody was doing. And
I want to just make a quick comment in terms of, I know there's so many of us in the industry that are genuinely looking to make things better and make things scalable, right? And so that everybody kind of has a common way to do things. But the real problem that we have is that risk in general is unique to each of us. And there are different, in a business, there's different policies, different workflows, different terminology, different risks. And there is no one size fits all solution for any given situation, right? And so it's easy for people, as you said, Kevin, to sort of assume what people should be doing based on your experience or your knowledge.
Yeah, completely. So if you have elderly family members, work with them ask them the question of how are you storing your passwords? And I bet you 9 out of 10 times they're going to say they're writing it down. And then just ask them, like, well, how are you writing it down? Where are you keeping it? Like, I think there was a quote from Bruce Schneier I pulled that if someone has broken into your home to steal your password notebook, you have bigger problems. So, I mean,
I told the story about the lady that was in class years ago, right? I'm talking back when I taught at Sam's, I was teaching this class, and this woman had her laptop, and I was helping her. You know, you had exercises, and I was helping her, and she was an older woman, so she would fit the senior conversation. And her laptop was absolutely covered in passwords that were written in Sharpie on the laptop.
Wow. Oh yeah, on the laptop,
on the laptop.
Sharpie?
Like, because,
not even like sticky notes.
Oh no, it was great. I'm like, because I look down, right? Like I'm looking down to try to help her with stuff.
That's amazing.
And there's stuff written all over the laptop, and I mean all over the laptop. And I'm like, what is all this? And she's like, oh, those are my passwords, like for various systems. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, you wrote these in Sharpie, so you obviously aren't changing them. Right?
Not until she changes her computer.
Right. And she's she showed it to me, and she's very proud of this fact. Like, she's like, well, I've got this laptop, it goes where like wherever I am, I have my passwords. And okay. And she goes, and look like, and I say, oh, well, what's the credit card? Because she's literally, you know, that wrist rest area, right? She's literally taped a credit card to the thing. And she says to me, oh, this is my online shopping credit card. I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, and look, this is how I handle it. And it's taped on the top, right? And she goes, look, I've got this. And then I just flip it up and I can get the expiration date in the CVV. And so I say, and I wasn't trying to be sarcastic. This was honestly hey, why don't you just write the expiration date in the CVV next to the card? And she looks at me like I have just grown 3 heads and said the stupidest thing possible. And she says, with no sarcasm at all, well, that wouldn't be very secure now, would it?
Ooh.
And in my head, I'm thinking, you have all your passwords with you from your laptop. Security is the least thing you're worried about.
The good thing about what she did with the credit card is it's probably not going to be long before it gets compromised, and she's going to have a new one. So
there you go.
I'm still point. You need to change that one out. I will always remember that lady. She was a great lady, smarter than anything, except in how to safely secure password.
Wow.
But it's a common thing. I think it also goes to the insider risk thing, right? It's like you said, if somebody breaks into your house to get your password book, you got a bigger problem. Well, the bigger problem could be insiders who know where your password book is, and when they have a chance to get in there and take it, they will. But so the whole point of when we say it's okay to do a book as long as you do it securely, like, do you have it locked? Do you have it somewhere that nobody else knows? You know, sort of security by obscurity,
right.
But there's a spectrum, right?
Right. But even in like, let's take, two-factor authentication as an example. Like, if someone does get your bank password, hopefully you've also enabled two-factor and well, the bank forces it, right? So there is still a fail-safe, right? In a lot of the cases of just losing your passwords. I mean, we see this all the time. I mean, how many times are our passwords ending up in some data breach? I mean, I just got an announcement from United Healthcare just the other day from some company I never even heard of was breached and my information was in it. I'm like, this happens all the time.
I think we both got the same notification.
We probably got the same one. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really no different. So one thing I do want to touch on is like passkeys, because we've said that is the future. Like we've got plenty of episodes where we've talked about passkeys, how they work and all of that. But I still don't think it's prime time ready yet for a senior that may already struggle with using biometrics, right?
Or even a password manager. Yeah.
I mean, there's people that have a hard time using Face ID in an iPhone for whatever reason. While we all think that's very easy and it's very simple, for someone that's a lot older that has not used a biometric device before, that could be very challenging for them.
Well, and I think that this is, was it Logitech that the camera couldn't see?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
African American people were missed.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I knew a guy that had Parkinson's and his hands shook, and because his hands shook, the fingerprint reader on his phone was not useful. Right. Which is something, I'll be blunt, I had never thought of. Like that never crossed my mind that, oh, hey, that would be potentially a problem.
Yep.
And this is, you got to think it through. And that's why, I'll throw the word diversity. I know that's not a popular word in our administration, but having a diversity of viewpoint is mandatory in understanding where these things fit, right?
Well, and from a business perspective is if you're a business and you adopt a technology and that's the only way of doing things, like let's just say you're a bank and you only allow, mortgages to be completed online and only through your online system and don't require or don't have an option for somebody that wants to use paper because maybe they just don't want to use it, because they're at an age where they're just like, I don't want to do that. So what are my options? And you don't give them an option. Well, then they're just going to go to another bank. That does give them that option, right? And it's bad for business.
It becomes a competitive advantage.
Yes. Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think another topic, not for this episode, but it's going to be interesting to see how seniors adopt AI, because there is a large number of people that are like, well, if you don't start using AI now, you're going to be irrelevant and you're going to be behind the times and everything is moving to AI. But I still, just like the password conversation, there's still going to be a group of people that will not use it no matter what. And so I think that's an interesting thing to talk about of like, well, what then? If it's going to be so embedded in everything that we do, is it can become so embedded where it just becomes transparent, or will people be forced to adopt it? I don't know. So we'll see.
That's a good idea. Talk about it.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Great to see both of you, though.
Yeah, good seeing you guys.
Yeah, I know. It's rare we can all get together. But thanks everyone for listening, and until next time, stay safe, stay secure, and stay private. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you like to get your podcasts. Visit sharedsecurity.net for merch, previous episodes, and more. If you'd like to help support the podcast, join our Patreon to get ad-free episodes and many more exclusive supporter-only benefits. Visit sharedsecurity.net/supporter for more details.